This is one measure that would get some direct help to people who are trying to meet those bills, and we believe it could be funded in a fair way.
Is there going to be enough money to cover this council tax freeze? I mean, I am reminded, and I have the scars on my back, as you will, Pat, when we were campaigning ahead of the 2015 general election, and the mansion tax, which was an Ed Miliband proposal, ended up with people saying that got spent like 20 times over. Is there a danger that kind of pinning everything on the windfall tax and adding more things to that list, it just becomes a bit incredulous?
No, I don't think so. Well, first of all, we're not proposing a mansion tax.
We'll just clear that up right now. That's good to know.
Up right now. But secondly, on your broader point about are you spending the same money twice? No. If you look at in the run up to the budget, we said we wanted the energy price cap that was scheduled to come to an end at the end of this month extended, and that it could be funded in that way. But the government has said they've found the funds for this anyway, and they've heeded our call on that. So the potential gains from extending the windfall tax, for example, by closing the investment allowance loophole for more oil and gas drilling, or making it the Norwegian rate, that money is still on the table if the government chose to close those loopholes and extend it in that way, and is still available for something like this. So it could be funded. It could be more than funded by what's available on the windfall tax. So we don't have any fears on that score. And the reason that we've come up with this policy is because the cost of living is the thing that's the highest on people's agenda right now. In that budget that we had a couple of weeks ago, the Office for Budget Responsibility pointed out that the cost of living and living standards are declining more last year and this year than any period in living memory. And my constituents and millions of people around the country feel that in the monthly pressure to meet the bills. So this is one measure that would get some direct help to people who are trying to meet those bills, and we believe it could be funded in a fair way.
So, I mean, this windfall tax is very, very germane to Labour's offer, and the party wants to raise the windfall tax to around 78%. Now, Shell has already said that it'll have to invest less in renewable energy if taxes go up. Now, the Labour Party, and you're very much part of the team with Rachel Reeves and Johnny Reynolds, has really done a great job in terms of building bridges with the city and with the business community. But is there an anxiety if windfall taxes are going to go up by this amount that businesses will get nervous about a prospective Labour Party government, because they will think, gosh, are we going to be operating in a very uncompetitive regime for investment?
We want a constructive relationship with business. The problems that the country faces in the long term can't be tackled by government alone. There has to be a good investment environment in the UK. But this oil and gas situation is a very specific windfall arising out of the war in Ukraine. And it's not that companies like Shell or BP or the other companies have done anything new or special to earn these windfalls. These are, as my colleague Rachel Reeves has said, the windfalls of war.
Okay, so
therefore we think it's right
that
specific situation, use some of it in this way.
So, Pat, does that mean what you're saying, because this is a specific case linked to these, as many people would agree with you, unearned profits, off the back of the Ukraine war, you wouldn't think about extending this windfall tax to other sectors? This is sort of ring fenced to oil and gas because of the Ukraine war.
We've no proposals to do that at all. And I would remind you and the listeners, Aisha, it wasn't a Labour leader who said F business. That was a Tory Prime Minister who said that. We've actually worked very hard to build a constructive relationship with business because we know that that's essential to get the economic growth that the country needs. And in the end, it is economic growth that will make the country more prosperous and our citizens better off. So we really do want a good partnership with business if we're fortunate enough to be elected whenever the general election comes.